Well, yeah, that seems to be that he was on Earth, not on a colony. Which doesn't surprise me. I mean, they could have been sympathizers, anti Earth.
No, I mean, his family
Federal.
could have visited Earth while during the occupation. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with the second episode of Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt. You do know where the name comes from, right? Lessons? Now, anyway?
Yeah, the Gundam.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Technically, this is the Thunderbolt sector, so I assumed it comes from the name
Yes.
of the sector.
Just Side 4.
I don't know.
Destruction
In
of
fact,
Side
they
4.
don't name the Gundam in episode 1, so I don't know where you're
No.
pulling that from. Or
They
is
don't
this
even put
more
title.
spoilers lessons?
No. They do put they don't even put even titles on their episodes. I was looking for the title of episode
Nope.
1. I'm like,
Literally,
no title.
that's the titles I put on them. Episode 1, episode 2. If you had no choice, they didn't name the episodes. Well, it's probably because, again, they put them together in a movie. But anyway, we come back with notes, comments, and a board. And as always, let's start with the board. And I do have a board changelog. I added a green line between Io and Cornelius. I don't know if it's Io or EO. I'm going to say Io. I added Alan, connected him with a green line to Io, and then marked him as dead. I added Dave and Brian, connected them with a green line to Alan and EO, and then I marked them as dead. I added Fisher, Hoover, Sean, and Daryl, and connected them with a green line. I marked Hoover dead and connected him and his team with a red line to Io, whatever. I added Carla and connected her with a purple line to Hoover. And then I added Claudia and connected her to EO with a purple line. EO, whatever.
Io. I think it's Io because I have a note about his name and his behavior.
Well, I would say Io based on the moon. But for some reason, when I go to read it, my brain just instantly switches over to EO. Because, clearly the I is an E. I don't know. My brain is doing it subconsciously. Maybe my brain is thinking Eeyore for some reason.
Or Ian.
I have no idea. It's just doing it. Anyway, any comments about the board?
Not at this moment, no.
Should we wait? I mean,
the only comment I would have is that Mitchum kind of has that Velma vibe. Her looks, but that's about it.
Who?
Velma from Scooby-Doo.
No, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, it said about Professor Carla Mitchum has that Velma vibe from Scooby-Doo series. The hair, the glasses.
Sure.
That's about it.
I mean, sure. If sorry, it's not in my head now. I was gonna say whoever made Drifters or Helsing, if they did a Scooby-Doo remake.
It would look like that.
I didn't make a note about this, but it's one of the things that I do enjoy about Thunderbolt is the heavy inking. It's the same thing I really enjoy about Drifters and Helsing.
It's a similar style to the people that did Castlevania as well. That's what I liked.
I would say Castlevania is also just more fluid. It's heavy, but it's fluid, whereas like Drifters and Helsing, or the same thing that I commented on when me and Griffin first started doing anime reactions, Sabuki Bisco also has that same heavy art style, but I would say that Bisco is closer to Castlevania than it is to this. Alright, well, if that's everything for the board, then we go into notes, and apparently I have one more than you, which means that I go first. I think they really nailed the tone of the unseen horrors of the 1 Year War in the first 5 seconds of Thunderbolt. We pan in from darkness to, with zero context, must be an iceberg with debris in it. We get the eerie music playing, and the first thing we see is a couple of old school yellow school buses. And then not long after, a shot of a massive chunk of the colony wrecked and floating in space to give you a sense of scale. It's very much like the same way that visiting the Janus 7 ruins in Gundam Seed, having the characters open a door and silently stare at a torn teddy bear just floating in space. It evokes in your imagination what must have happened to arrive in this moment, and your imagination is always going to be better at eliciting emotion from you than someone else's direction. It is the strongest foot you could lead with a war is bad narrative. It makes the next scene of a Zeon Zaku manning a gun positioned on the ruins and uncaringly crushing a car and tossing it away that much more jarring to any care given from the people in the world to the horror that surrounds them.
And I believe this is side 4, so I think it's one of the sides that got nuked by Zeon. So
I have a note about that, but I will say that is unconfirmed.
they nuked side 1.
Again, I have a note about it.
So I go to my note with touches on something you said, but it's more, I don't know, more esoteric, I guess. Interesting, among the wreckage from the column, we find an American-style school bus. We've never seen that before in a Gundam show. Then again, each colony, or for that matter, each Banshee, has their own culture association. So Side 4 is probably the North American-style one.
I don't know. I don't know because I don't think that particular style of school bus is only North American. I want to say that I've seen it in other countries as well, but I mean, I don't know if it's the standard in other countries. I just know I've seen them in other countries. Say, India and Pakistan. I know I've seen them in movies in those countries, but then again, I don't know if it was filmed in those countries. Might have been filmed in North America, set in Pakistan. I don't know.
Well, they're common enough in the United States and Canada, but...
Well, they were a standard for a couple of generations. But then they got replaced. I mean, you see them... Again, my problem is I'm going off of movies now. It's like you see them in like Euro trip movies, and you see them in... well, no, you see them in real life in India when overcrowded public transportation.
Yeah, but not as a yellow school bus, specifically. You see that type of bus is being sold around the world. The United States military loves it, especially the Air Force. But the sort of yellow school bus format, which I think they're made by Grumman, if I'm not mistaken, which means now they're made by Boeing. It's also very interesting. Aircraft companies making buses. But so they also made the U.S. Postal Service vehicle.
I mean, it's not very specifically American, at least not to the style that I recall seeing. The thing that's throwing me off is the double stop sign. These have double stop signs, one on the back and one on the front. The ones I'm familiar with, they have one on the back, but not on the side back. They have it on the back door back. And one in the front. And across... I've only lived in about 3 different states, but I've crossed about 6 or 7 states and seen school buses, and they've all been the same design. So this one having double stop signs on both on the side is odd to me.
Modern version of it? Because I know they have the pop-up signs on the side.
It wouldn't be, modern version in this future reimagining, I guess. Not the actual, what we did with school buses.
Oh, yeah, but if it came out in 2015 and it was made in the early 2010s and they were using American
2015, we already went to the flat front school bus.
Yeah.
With an AO. And even the flat front school bus only has one side and the thing on the back.
Anyway, that was my note.
So in relation to where all this is taking place, we heard in OG Gundam that Side 4's ruins were seen near Side 1 during the attack on Solomon. I guess that implied that we saw was only 1 or 2 Banshai of Side 4 if this show is taking place in the actual ruins of Side 4. We saw the map of the sides back near the end of OG Gundam. It's where my list of the sides and which ones had X's over them originally came from. Well, Side 1 and Side 4 were around the same Lagrange point, so that makes sense. Despite not knowing yet how Side 4 was destroyed, we do know Side 1 got nuked. Via the series of shorts that we watched, more about the Universal Century. So I wouldn't put it past Zeon to have nuked both at the same time. It's just the element that Side 4's ruins seems to be a massive electrical storm, while Side 1's are not, making me think that they may have had alternative fates.
I have, I think, a note about the thunderstorm, but which kind of talk about the my second note. I like the jazz soundtrack, and they made it diegetic. But if those thunder clouds outside came out due to Minovsky particle saturation, how is he getting any radio signals out here? He says it's a pirate radio that he's getting from the jazz from. But who is, who has a pirate radio satellite out here transmitting just for them or just for this area?
Well, my next note is also about the pirate radio, so I'll just pile on. Io is listening to pirate radio, according to Cornelius. Zooming in on the radio taped to his console, he's on FM 3 and listening to 100 megahertz. Is it millihertz? Megahertz? Megahertz. Which is his preset 04, meaning it's a somewhat reliable pirate radio station. Of note, though, they don't seem to know where it's coming from either, as Io suggests that the lightning is bringing it in, after Cornelius says he's got good timing on when to listen in, after suggesting that it's one of the previous recordings, and Io tells him to make a copy of this day's broadcast, clearly for the purposes of broadcasting it from his GM while he is out, as we hear later from Daryl's cockpit, and both Io's boasting, but also as the Zeon signal fades away, as Io pilots the Dom away from the Zeon side, indicating that they're broadcasting from their suits. It does seem like Cornelius is about to suggest something about the Minovsky particles, but he doesn't get a chance to finish the thought, though the guys in the battle make it clear that the Minovsky particles would block radio transmissions, seeming to imply that this jazz signal is being broadcast from somewhere extremely close by. Because, we also have the presence of how fast the Zeon signal fades away as he's flying away. It would imply it's very close by. In the battle, maybe worth noting that the Zeon radio was tuned to 90 megahertz, implying a non-jazz station is also in range on the Zeon side. Oddly, Daryl's radio is later set to 140 megahertz when he's back at base, when he's listening to music there.
And also about the devices. Although it says a radio, it does have an antenna. It very much looks like a modified iPod. And later on, we see somebody with looks like a mobile phone, and they're listening to music there, perhaps recorded. But the guy you just mentioned, he actually has a little transistor radio that he carries with him.
He has a 50s style radio, and ironically is also listening to 50s and 60s music.
Here's my note then. Also interesting that Fleming is the one wearing the white spacesuit while everyone else wears yellow. Main character syndrome off the bat.
Well, not everybody else is wearing yellow.
Yeah, the mechanics are wearing white, but all the other pilots are wearing yellow. He's only one wearing white. Even the commander was wearing yellow when he got killed.
Well, sorry, you mean Alan. Sorry, you said commander. I was saying captain.
She was wearing a full spacesuit, but not...
I don't think you're correct, but I'm not willing to engage in argument because I do not have evidence. Well, yes, I do have evidence. I might have evidence. Hold on. Nope, I don't have evidence. I only take face shots for the board. So yeah, no argument. Disagreement, but no argument. Over 40 Allied machines lost since November, trying to push Zeon out of Side 4. That is what the Federation commander says. Well, the first fight we see has 16 confirmed kills alone. By Zeon, I mean. More if you think that every shot we see the snipers take without seeing an explosion might also be a GM down. With only one confirmed Zeon loss. I know the Federation outnumbers Zeon, but 16-1 is still pretty bad attrition rate. Especially as we learn later that 24 sortied. That's over a 66% loss, with apparently everyone above ensign rank dying. According to the commander later, though, they list the losses as 4 with major damage, 6 with minor damage, 5 that are cockpit block only, and so a total of 9 lost. Even when the Federation gets the Gundam, they manage to eliminate 3 Zakus with it, which is still a bad metric for the time scale given.
Well, they lose a total of 4 Zakus. The one they captured actually wasn't a Zaku; it was a...
No. I don't know if you were reading stuff in the background, because obviously I already know you had the white in your glasses. I'm just told you, in the first engagement, the Federation lost 16. Apparently, they retrieved enough that it was only 9 lost with the damage that the mechanics could repair, and Zeon only lost 1. And I'm counting Io's destroyed GM as well. And then when they get the Gundam, and this is why I'm disagreeing with you, a completely different engagement, the Zeon only lost 3. And in this perspective, the Federation lost 0 because they did not lose the Gundam. The Gundam was the only thing fighting on the field.
There's something about there's something they said during the show that I think this is not quite the Federation, but
no, you're talking about the Moore Brotherhood. This is still the Federation. The Moore Brotherhood is a separate group. I have a note about it. The Moore Brotherhood is a separate group which apparently is paying the Federation. These are still Federation soldiers.
Well, to my counter that is, if you lost 40 machines in the last month, maybe you should try a different strategy or tactics. Just saying. No, but they say allied machines, not... And I think that these guys are the Moore Brotherhood, and they're paying the Federation money to give them machines.
Do you have a note about the Moore Brotherhood?
Yes.
Okay, I think maybe we should hold this discussion for when one of us gets to those notes. I have a note about it. You have a note about it. We're just throwing it into the middle of other notes, and it feels like we're going to lose something for having done that.
Anyway, I said my note about the 40 machines. So
the commander says that regaining the Thunderbolt sector will change the tide of the war. I mean, it is mid-December, as per the ordering that I set us up to watch these in, where each one started deeper and deeper into the 1-year war. That's why this is essentially the last show for the 1-year war. I'm not sure how much hyperbole her speech contains, though. Eliminating the Zeon presence in this sector might be big, as the attack on Solomon is a week or 2 away, and Solomon is nearish to this sector. Getting rid of the Zeon presence here would clear the way for the coming assault, if not remove any ability for Zeon to reinforce Solomon directly with units from this location.
Maybe, yeah. Although,
otherwise, this is an isolated group of Zeon that might not even have any effect on the Battle of Solomon.
Like I said before, the fact that all these guys, the Zeon guys, all have in common that they're wearing prosthetics, right? It seems like they're just from other units. They got wounded, survived, and this is an amalgamated unit. I mean, they even call themselves the Living Dead, so they just might be a complete side project.
Well, then I'm just gonna I'm gonna throw my 1-sentence note out there. The Living Dead Division is such a metal fucking name for a unit.
It is. Going back to the Holman Oscar thing, the cables explain how the Zeon pilots can communicate with each other, but doesn't explain how they can snipe from such a distance, especially with all that debris. They must have super optics on their guns or something.
No, they literally say, was he a new type?
No, but he wasn't the only one that was sniping guys from
I know.
Way far off.
I know, but just they're amazed by their ability too. Nothing quite like when your own characters are like, God, how the fuck are we doing this? We're fucking amazing. Are we new types?
I think they were referring to one of them as a new type, not all of them as new types, but yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing. Here's the funny bit where I'm coming back and I know perfectly everything that's going on with every character. Whereas I said at the end of the episode recorded, I couldn't keep fucking track, man. This show was too fast paced. I must have paused 70 times while I was taking my notes, because if somebody says something at the end of the episode, and I was I had a note question written about it from the beginning of the episode. So it's 18 minutes long, these episodes, but at the same time, everything connects. Free jazz is perfect for Thunderbolt, something Io says. And sure, I can agree to that. Free jazz, much like the Thunderbolt sector, is a total fucking mess.
Well, that's certainly an opinion, which
It
I
is.
will
It's
not
my
expand
opinion.
upon.
Well, it's not my fault that your first note was like, I like the music of the show. To be fair, I do like the music of the show. The Zeon music, which is 50s to 60s Americana.
Well, I had a note about it, but you say it's Americana. It sounded a little different to me.
I
but
literally have a
right.
future note about which bands they are. So, I mean, they said the names of them, and then I looked them up. That's why I said the Zeon radio is like a 50s, 60s radio, because he's actually playing 50s to 60s music.
Well, it is sounded that the music the Zeon people listen to seems like standard J-pop idol music, probably a bit from the 80s or even 90s, as the phone image seems to imply that about the royal teens. But that is for the comment section to clarify.
Well, actually, I'll clarify it right now with a response note. It's not my next one, but you're making me skip ahead because we're on topic. So the guy talking to Daryl when he returns to base calls out his Patty Page recording, a singer well known from the 50s, an American singer from the 50s, and suggests that he's a fan of the Royal Teens, which Daryl thinks it means he's referring to a 60s band, which is where the Royal Teens come from musically, when the guy shows him a pinup from the July issue of Pretty Mate featuring Royal Teens. I suppose one interesting aspect of it is that it's a Granada production, so, moon people still living their moon lives.
I guess so.
But he's not listening to J-pop. He's actually listening to American music from the 50s and 60s. Well, he's listening to American music from the 50s. The other guy you think is referring to, I guess, if you're in the know on 50s and 60s music, which is, I think, what they're pushing on you. Oh, you mean that band from the 60s, the Royal Teens? Like, no, I'm talking about porn. Hit me up if you're about that later. That's what he says. Sure, I'd like to share porn with you, random, strange other man.
Well, it seems to be in the same unit and know each other. So,
yeah, I know. I'm just being flippant about the element of watching porn with your boys.
Some people are into that. Not me, though. Like, to be perfectly honest, it's a thing that I would never do.
Sometimes I elaborate way too much on a thing, and we have like a 20-minute conversation. You could have ended on, not for me, but then I heard you intake a little breath and kept going. Like, could have ended there.
I know, TMI, I apologize. But yeah, just to make it clear, no. Just no. No. Although it's falling into doubt protest too much, but still. My next note. I guess finalization is something that neither side gives a damn about.
I mean, we're near the end of the war, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, discipline is basically at its end, essentially. Down. I mean, unless you're on Earth, unless you're Shiro Yamada, everybody else is basically do as you will. I mean, think back to your boy, person you got drawn as, right?
Yeah, Bright.
Desert if you want to, Bright. Not as though Bright was saying that, or Bright. I'm not referring, I was meant to be like, I couldn't think of his first name.
Noah, Bright.
Noah. Sorry, I heard you say Norm. Norm Bright. Like he's that guy at the bar.
No.
Yeah, Noah, Desert if you want to, Bright. All right.
Well,
kind of feels like Thunderbolt Warfare is our first in-universe use of the MAV tactic from GQucks, where the idea is to ferret out enemy fire by using one member of the team as a target to be shot, while the other then tracks or traces back to the shooter. Except here in the Thunderbolt sector, it's just a known thing, as Io points out, asking who will be the unlucky one moments before being shot.
I think the plan was that any attack that they would use it to track their shots. It's just a matter of we'll find out the moment somebody explodes.
They didn't know where the Zeon snipers were positioned and were genuinely shocked that they were posted up on the ruins of the Bonchai of Side 4. So they didn't know where the shots were going to be coming from, so they were blind flying out to be shot, to then find out, thus explaining away all the Allied losses?
Well, it seems that Fleming has the same moves as his namesake, or at least his main character namesake. Because it's very much, when he meets the captain, it's very much a James Bond style, especially what's his name, Sean Connery Bond type
Roger
situation.
Moore.
No, Roger Moore wasn't usually that grabby. I mean, sometimes he was, but not. In fact, there's an entire
now
movie
I'm thinking
where
of
he spends
the epic rap battles of history, Austin Powers line. Sometimes Dr. No means no, baby.
Yeah. In fact, he spends an entire Moore has an entire movie where he's running away from this girl who's she's underage, but apparently because he says mom, she's like, oh my god, and he's like, no, I'm not involved with you. You're not an adult. It's not happening. And the running joke that she's every time she sees him, it's like, oh hey, and he's like, I gotta go. I gotta go. I may do him young, but I'm not doing him underage. That's Bond has a line right there. He's not going there.
I mean, I've made it explicit on many recordings now. I do not know much about the Bond mythos. So somebody even commented recently in one of the videos my indication that I don't know much about Bond. I don't remember what I said, but they were indicating, they didn't need to watch more Bond films.
Yeah, it was about M being woman, which is, as the commenter made right, she was only played by Judi Dench in the Brosnan movies and the two first movies.
Yeah, most modern James Bond films.
Yeah.
Yeah, so most people in the modern James Bond fandom would only know a female M.
But in the full run of Bond, M has almost always been a man.
I don't know that it matters anymore, really.
In the second last movie because M gets, I'm not going to go into specifics. People haven't watched it.
Oh, I wonder what the audience is now thinking when you said M gets and then refused to finish the sentence. She gets retirement. That's clearly what you must have meant.
She gets substituted by Ralph Fiennes as a new M.
I'm just saying it doesn't really matter, I don't think. The same way like the Doctor Who reboot, right? Most people just know the new Doctor Who stuff and refuse to watch the old stuff. So whatever is happening in Doctor Who now is the only Doctor Who they care about. Ironically, another British property. So the same way, if it's been a female M through the modern Bond stuff, then that's the one that they know. The Moore Brotherhood paid the Federation, says Io, and a bridge officer later says that Io is the son of Moore's leader. Our bridge guy seems to indicate that that's what this Gundam is for, a young hero of sinful lineage to die for their ideals as Moore Brotherhood propaganda.
That brings me to my note, which may or may not be correct, but I believe it. So the Moore Brotherhood are equipped by the Federation, but not a part of it. It explained the early comment about allied machines. They're on the same side, but they're not quite the same group.
Sure.
Otherwise, like, we lost.
No, you don't have to keep explaining lessons. We all understood. Yeah. This isn't a 3-time downer. I'm saying sure because sounds right. I mean, I disagreed with it before. It's going to be one of those rare step backs where maybe you're right. They refer to the Moore Brotherhood as essentially like the leadership of the colony, and then they're constantly saying, fight for our colony, so it seems like they're the people that used to live here. I'm not putting a lot of weight into the Allied machines comment, so I still see this as probably Federation stuff, but I'm not going to say, no, I'm 100% against that. I'm like 50-50 on this. Seems more likely that you're right, that they are probably all Moore, but then again, why is that guy saying the Moore Brotherhood in the third person as though they're an other group? See, the same thing works both ways, really, right? They can't say Allied machines as though that's Federation losses, not ours, and then the other guy being like, yeah, but the Moore Brotherhood, as though we're not part of that.
By the way, you would say you can't tell by the board if I was right or wrong about the
those two guys don't represent everybody. We would need the thing I would be looking for is a Federation person on there with a white uniform to prove you wrong. That's not Io.
But I am proving myself wrong.
Well, then don't. Let the commenters do that. I don't spot it. I'm actively looking at the board, not spotting it. Just let yourself be right until you're proven wrong.
Okay. Just wanted to correct before the commenters jumped on it.
No, let them. You're the golden boy for the commenters. Why not? Why not let them get one in? Be the Houdini punch that takes you down forever.
No, I mean, there's not in every show. I'm not the golden boy anymore.
I don't know. I'm the one still getting all the hate, so I can't remember one that you're not. Hell, you hate Durarara, and the commenters are still like, no, I totally still understand Lesson's opinions. Like, fuck! The golden boy can't do no wrong.
Mm.
All right, well, my final note. So, Thunderbolt's Gundam is an RX-78 according to the Catapult control system display, with no other modifying letters or numbers. I mean, even Amuro had an RX-78-2.
So it's an experimental unit because of the RX. But
I'm just saying that we saw even in G-Quux, there was an RX-78-1, which is our only vision of that one. This is an RX-78 nothing. No parentheses G or just nothing.
Yeah.
And again, that's from the Catapult controlled system display before he gets launched into space. I paused on that scene specifically because it also mentions that was an RGM-78 is the next thing to be launched.
Yeah, but that's what RDM, the GMs.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Because I was reading it all specifically to make sure it's like, oh, is this the? No, it couldn't be. This is the RX-78. I'm not saying that they have two Gundams. They only got the one. So, very specifically, the launch control system only says RX-78, and I looked all over the damn thing. It has no markings on it, or if it does, incredibly hard to read because it's like purple and black, or red and black. I can't remember.
What's interesting, though, is that as far as we ever seen to this point, no GM had a core fighter. But we know the reason why
the RX-78-2 has a core fighter.
Yeah, but the GMs don't have.
Don't fret about that for too long. Remember, we have a comment.
Okay. But yeah, that's something I noticed. Like, wait a minute, that's a gym. And I guess for some reason I ended up having the last note.
Because you said something about the Living Dead division, and then I had an extra note that was just like, that's a fucking metal name.
Okay. I love how this also leans on how terrifying the Gundam, I don't know why, Google Docs doesn't like me to put a the there, is to see on. It was like, it was almost short of somebody going like, it's a Gundam, still a Gundam wing, but they were like, oh shit, it's a Gundam.
Oh, because
when they saw the guy's face,
for a good reason.
Yeah. So, still maintain that tradition that the Gundam, the White Devil, is still terrifying. That's the name they give it. I'm just quoting the show.
I do not remember the last time it was ever called the White Devil. I've heard the White Devil before, not in reference to the Gundam. I'm just saying that the element is that for very clear reasons, right? The Gundam is terrifying to Zeon because wherever the Gundam appears, Zeon dies. They only give them to main character. Well, I would say they only give them to main characters, but Requiem for Vengeance proved that you can just be a nobody and get a Gundam.
Well, it was kind of a main character, just we didn't know who they were until they died.
Not really. They appear for, I would say, a total of maybe 10 minutes of runtime across the entire series.
Oh, the character, yeah. Well,
no, I mean, even the Gundam. Because even the Gundam only appears during certain fights, and then sometimes they're just the background of the fight. Like, they're not a main character. So much so, unnamed.
Yeah. No, that was the RX-EX, right? In Requiem for Vengeance. What was the one in...
You goddamn know that I delete my notes.
I think it was the EX in Requiem for Vengeance, and it was something else in, what's his name, into War in the Pocket.
As I've said many times before, the technical manual stuff is not where I'm putting my my egg basket. So I talked about it during the episode. I've got a board specifically for the characters. I'm not keeping track of the mobile suits and whatnot. Imagine how complex this board would be if I put an image of everything they ever piloted next to everybody.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It would not be cool.
Time consuming.
You've seen it before.
Time consuming.
You've seen it before. I did it in Seed.
Yeah.
It just made it weird to look at. Everybody had a Gundam next to them or a mobile suit next to them, and some of them had ships next to them because they're captains of those ships. It looked ugly, too. This already looks ugly. I'm pointing at the board. You might not see this in the recording because I'm not pointing at anything because we've gone to whatever the middle image I'm using for Thunderbolt is.
Mm-hmm. So those were not the notes. I guess we do go to comments or comment depending on how many we have.
All right, we have Oversteer from the Patreon from the episode Thunderbolt episode 1. Finally, Thunderbolt. Excited for these reactions. Gundam Thunderbolt originally started as a manga by Yasuo Otagaki back in 2012, and is set in an alternate Universal Century timeline and still continuing on to this day, although near its conclusion now. This anime adaptation, though, takes place in the main Universal Century timeline. The Federation mobile suits we see at the start are indeed GMs and not Gundams. The explanation Sunrise created for the anime is that these specific units we see with core blocks are modified versions of the original suits from the 1979 anime created specifically for the Thunderbolt sector due to its harsh environment. It really only works as an escape pod with low mobility, unlike an actual core fighter. That's still only exclusive to top models like the Gundam. In the original manga continuity, all GMs just came standard with core blocks. This element still made its way into the anime since Sunrise really wanted to keep manga's identity, redesign / multi-shields, that made this work stand out from what came before. Sunrise felt like if they stripped that away for the sake of total coherency with what was established before in the main UC timeline, it would simply lose its uniqueness, and it wouldn't be Thunderbolt anymore. Also, the lightning that we see in the Thunderbolt sector is actually electrical discharge from the colony ruins of Side 4. More. It's one of the few details that never gets directly explained in the show, with the explanation only appearing in the manga and setting material books for the anime. Pacing does go a bit fast, since Sunrise really just wanted these ONAs to be online shorts after working on a huge OVA with 1 hour plus runtimes that spanned 4 years to make. That's why after the success of the ONAs, they went into creating these compilation films that extended the length with new footage and that provided some more stellar animation and character moments that really helped create an overall better flow to the pacing. I really recommend Thunderbolt December Sky 2016/Season 1 compilation film and Thunderbolt Bandit Flower 2017/Season 2 compilation film after you complete the ONA versions. Which is something we had literally, I think we said it in the episode reaction that we said we were going to do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, also about the core fighter is if your main business is selling models, you want new models with new gimmicks, right? In this case, the backpack with the multiple shields and the core, whatever, not fighter, core pack instead of the core fighter, right? Like, why am I buying this new figure? Because it looks different than everything else that I have. I have a new version of the GM, right? Makes sense. Also for the giant, sniper energy weapons as well, Probably look pretty cool if you can make a diorama of them, like a little rock and,
I'm sure they've done that on their own. They've got those Gunpla competitions where I've seen people So I've seen reviews of the winners before in other people's. This is my entry to the Gunpla competition, and not for nothing, they also had that VR environment thing where you could go and see other people's Gunpla. Frankensteins, I want to say. I don't know what to call them. There's a word for it when you
matchups.
Yeah, no, but there's a more specific word for it when it's in Gunpla. Kit bashing. I mean, that's not actually specifically Gunpla specific. That's just a model thing. But because I remember, I don't remember. I watched the history of Bionicle in a 10-hour video event where apparently you could submit your Bionicle kit bashes to whatever the company is. I don't remember who makes Bionicle. And they made them into characters in the show as the show progressed. Kind of like back in the day, you could submit Mega Man villains in like those competitions, and some of those actually became Mega Man villains. That Bionicle took published kit bashes and made them into villains or characters or whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, go all the way back to Star Wars. The way they made things like the Star Destroyers was by kit bashing sets of battleship sets and warships from World War II, right?
Well, I think that's something different that you're talking about. I can't remember what the name of that is. That's not kit bashing. That is... Sorry, I've watched an Adam Savage video about making shit for movies and whatnot, and when you take like bits of other kits or other models and whatnot and put it onto your thing to make it look like more sci-fi or more for the feel you're going for, that has its specific name. I can't remember what it is. That's not kit bashing, though. So that old conversation that we had a long time ago, specific words for specific things.
No, but I think the difference, because I know when you talk about weapons, like you take like a Nerf gun and make it into a sci-fi gun, right? And make it into something that makes sense, then yeah, that's one thing. That's body mods or something like that. I don't remember what it is. But kit bashing for like ships and the like, I think that would be the term for what Star Wars has done. And they also do it in Star Trek as well. Oh, now it's digital, so they kept the term. But
I will say that Google's AI is agreeing with you, but I know that's not the word I'm looking for, and I apparently can't figure... Oh, Grebel? Is Grebel what I'm looking about? Grebels, also called greebles, singular greebly, or nurnies, are small relief details used to give visual complexity to a model. The act of decorating a model with greebles is known as greebling. A technique in filmmaking is often used in model making, toy design, and kit bashing. Okay. The thing I was referring to was a part of kit bashing, apparently. Greebles was coined by George Lucas in the 1970s to describe details on model ships used in the production of Star Wars. So that's the connection between our conversation, because again, I'm pretty sure I heard it from Adam Savage when he was talking about doing that for movies, and he may have referenced Star Wars in it, because in my head, I remember like the close-up on a Star Destroyer when they were talking about it.
Any other comments?
Apparently Greeble is also a word for artificial objects used in the stimuli of psychological studies in object and face recognition. Alright, with that said, I guess there's nothing left to do but to hop on in.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
The ships should be getting crushed.
Is that a Western? No, Western, country music. We're here.
I mean, you put your money on Patty Page.
Yeah.
I doubt they're using the same thing again, though.
Well, this place wasn't screwed up enough.
No, it's dead. They're all dead.
Yeah, I know.
It's great atmospherics, though.
Oh, that guy didn't last long.
Man, you could cut the 6th episode off of War in the Pocket and then just connect it
Yeah.
to Thunderbolt and not explain anything. It'd be like, oh god. Well, so much dad.
Yeah. He did say his dad had died.
He didn't. They tied him to the leadership of the More Brotherhood. This is the first indication his dad was dead. Give him back, though. I love used tissue. That was your joke from the first episode. Okay, Carla. I thought for a second we were about to see Dozel. Daryl. Oh, so he did get the ace. The cross, rather. So it means we're in a time jump. Oh, no, it was Hoover who was going for the cross. We never got indication that Daryl going to go with the cross.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, kind of like iron-blooded orphans. Reuse psycho device. Kind of funny that they listen to the music that Io hates.
Yeah, because his father used to listen to that music. I guess he got deployed on Earth? Or to a colony?
No, he's in his mind. Thank God the whole show isn't jazz. The problem is that you could think he was deployed on Earth, but he could have been invading a colony for all we know. Looks like his dad was an admiral.
Well, that seems to be that he was on Earth, not on a colony. Which doesn't surprise me. I mean, they could have been sympathizers anti Earth.
No, I mean his family could have visited Earth during the occupation. It really does show that Xeon prosthetics are way more advanced than Federation prosthetics. As per that doctor in War in the Pocket. Conversation that would have served us better in the Macross Delta show to explain all those floating bits.
Yeah. Xeon market
Also,
name
those are the
device.
same transports I feel like that we saw at Side 6. Pergamino. OG Gundam, not G-Quix.
Yeah, but those are where we saw the what's his name?
Yeah, no, the general use. I'm just saying that I remember them from that, I think. Great, more randos I'm gonna have to keep track of. And we all know that no Zaku pilot ever abandoned the ship. Yeah, just imagine if this guy was dropping balloons.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he's trauma hitting.
Oh, thanks God.
How convenient.
God said, not today. I would be pissed off if Daryl dies now. Can't shoot me now that I have a human shield. Do you think every fight would be doing that? We need one of those pinball explosives out here. It would really ruin everything. Well, goodbye, Sean. Oh, he was supposed to be like on Io's side, but he's literally making fun of a bunch of paraplegics. I mean, I would feel different if he was calling out the Xeon guy for like the war crimes they committed. He's calling him out for being a paraplegic, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, back to losing the war.
ガンダム1機のおとりで無罪を2隻撃沈。見事な作戦です、艦長。これだけとは。また逃げるか。
Oh, yeah, Christmas time.
Yeah, legit had to double check for a second that we weren't the end of the episode or something. I mean, clearly.
Oh. Oh. Now he's lost an arm.
Well, we
Jesus
knew he
Christ.
lost something. We saw the blood explosion in the cockpit. Living Dead division.
Yeah. I think by the time it's only be left like a head or something, man, they're gonna put his head in a pike and have
I mean,
him
that
run
would
the-
be Iron-Blooded Orphans.
Yeah. Oof, yeah, that's damn.
師団はこの中域の死守を命じている。最悪の場合、科学班も命運を共に。
艦長、我々の実験はすでに実戦投入できるレベルにあります。しかし、あの機体には最後に残った重要な部品については艦長のご決断があれば。
Yep, the RoboCop Gundam. Or, you know, Zeon doesn't have Gundams, whatever the equivalent would be.
分かってください、カーラ先生。全滅の危機にある師団を救う方法はこれしかないんです。ガンダムに対抗できるのは私たちの実験機だけなんです。
ダメよセクスト。あの機体は獅子の神経をつないで初めて。
Oh, I thought that was going to be the thing. We gotta cut the other arm.
戦闘で左手を失ったそうですね。
何を言っているの？
彼の右手を切れ！
彼らはモルモットじゃないのよ。
私だって辛い。
あなたはどこまで私に人間の魂を捨てさせるつもりなの？
Welcome to Zeon. All of it.
この戦争に協力しなきゃ。反逆罪で投獄されている君の父親はどうなる？
Who's your dad?
今こそ誇り高い
What
研
does
究
he
を祖国
do?
のために生かすべきだ。これは宇宙移民者独立のためであり、ジオン公国のためだ。
Well, whether he wants it or not, the captain had just ordered him to.
I mean,
have his
it's
hand
a shame that Sean didn't survive, because I think it would be easier for Sean. Sean already is missing both arms, and he's in space, so it's easier for a guy to lose his legs in space than it is for a guy to lose arms in space.
Oh, if you're squeamish about blood, then this is not the part for you.
Well, thankfully, it's not one of my things. Cigarettes still disturb me more. I enjoyed RoboCop.
It may well be that he actually manages to kill Io.
I mean, I doubt it. This is still predominantly Zeon should lose the story. It's just gonna really fucking suck if that does turn out to be the case. Look, God protected Io, so that's bullshit.
Can you though?
I mean, it's a pretty good trade-off. Ultimate power.
it?
Can't scratch your nose.
Is it ultimate power though? It's only ultimate power
Basically,
in
in
the
this
suit, isn't it?
universe so far, yeah. Name anything else in the 1 Year War that could stand up to this.
I don't know. I don't know how effective this is.
Well, we've seen
We
how
haven't seen it in
effective
the
the
combat.
other guy is. Now, this is the equivalent. Except it should be better, because the idea is that he's got, like, his nerves tied into the machine. So instead of moving his arm, he's moving the Gundam's arm. It's 1-for-1.
Yeah, but neurological inputs are not that
Once
faster.
again,
So
do not apply real life logic to this. This is Gundam. This is the future, and this is science fiction fantasy. I think the new type thing kind of makes it a little bit of fantasy.
well, it depends how much you lean on it. Yeah,
Well, they're leaning on it pretty hard in that one of them created a universe.
yeah, but this is not part of. Well, yeah,
Technically, I think it is kind of part of. Still, though, kind of expected him to lose the other arm. So it was like not that surprising that they're like, we need him to lose all 4 limbs. It's like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Horrible for that guy. I don't know if he's meant to survive the arc, because, season 1, season 2 sort of situation. So we might only have to go like 2 more episodes for his suffering. So if I had to guess, they're both gonna die, because they're both kind of getting equal weight here. But as I said, predominantly this is a Zeon loses storyline. So
True.
what was the last time we had a Zeon hero? Igloo?
There you go. That's the reason why they didn't want to change the suits too much. Gumbla.
Oh, we already got that last time.
Yeah.
I mean, Igloo was our last Zeon hero.
Yeah. And even then they lost.
No, they survived.
No, but they lost the war.
They're always going to lose the war. What is your point there? Zeon's always going to lose the war.
Yeah.
It would be weird if we watched a Universal Century show where Zeon won the war in one series.
Did.
No, we didn't.
I mean, well, it's an alternate history, but
I said a Universal Century show where Zeon won the war, because it would have to then become an AU, and thus by definition, not a Universal Century show. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You're saying that they still lost. Well, yes, by definition, they have to lose. That's how it happened. It would be, the implication is not they lost, which is setting the bar way up here. It's did they survive, which is setting the bar way down here. Because most Zeon people do not survive the 1 Year War, especially not if you get a name and get put on screen.
True enough. Yeah, this episode, we got an insight on both characters. Both characters apparently lost their, well, no, one lost their parents to suicide.
I think we can assume that Daryl probably lost his dad. Again, we're near the end of the 1 Year War. I would have to say that probably, like, we're throwing the kids out. How many old men do we have left?
I mean, he's a senior officer, so he could have survived.
It seems less likely he will have survived. Like, I don't know what the over-under is on, like, the Star Trek red suit thing. Like, red shirt. Like, ironically, they say you're more likely to survive in Star Trek if you're a red shirt. Do you know that?
No.
The number of red shirts that you see on a ship versus the number of red shirts that die. If you're in a red shirt, you have a greater percentage of just not being one of the red shirts that dies versus how many, say, blue shirts that you see on a ship versus how many blue shirts die across multiple episodes. So there's way more red shirts on a ship. So even though they die like every episode, there's still less of them dying per red shirt than every other shirt.
Statistics are funny that way.
Yeah, so even though you might think, don't be a red shirt on that ship, no, just don't be a red shirt on screen. That's your argument.
But you don't see oh shit, the camera. Oh fuck.
Or, be a red shirt that's walking down the hallway when the main characters go, because you're not going to be the one sent off. Anyway, I I would argue that an admiral or captain is going to be in command of something that they're going to have to be on a front line of a fight, at least by the end. Like, you're going to have to be one of the lucky ones that got to stay back at Granada or defending Munzo itself to not be on a front line. And how are you going to be able to be doing that through the entirety of the war? You're going to have to be protected by a lightning bolt from God to be able to be surviving the war as a Zeon military officer. And I would argue that your most likely chance is probably just being a low soldier, because there's so many of you and you're needed everywhere. The probability of you getting deployed somewhere that doesn't see the fighting directly is greater the lower rank you are. Like, be a zaku mechanic, right?
Yeah.
One, you're going to be stationed somewhere not immediately attacked. Like, the base is everyone else has to die before you get attacked. But also the element you could be back home working on zakus that need to go to the front line.
Yeah. Good episode. I'm liking a lot of Thunderbolt. I know that, I mean, if the movies are supposed to be better, damn, the movies have to be pretty good.
Well, again, they're better production and added scenes, right? I'm assuming they're going to be better than the show. Plus, they're not going to be cut up this way. Like, we're not going to be like 18 minutes and then wait till the next thing.
But it is giving me a bit of Igloo vibes as well, for some reason, which is not bad necessarily. I didn't hate Igloo.
Igloo was one of my favorites, despite what the comments are now saying.
I guess we like different aspects of Igloo, but we still like Igloo, both of us.
Well, you preferred Igloo 2, which I really did not like near the bottom of my stuff. But I'd say Igloo and the second core, whatever, of Igloo. You know, Hidden 1 Year War and Apocalypse 79. Near the top of my list, I would say that's gotten harder, because I think, Igloo was like our third thing, right? So it was near the top then, and it's been hard to maintain. I would say Igloo for me is probably near the same tier as 8th MS Team. 8th MS Team survives a lot on nostalgia for me, whereas rewatching it, I enjoyed the character interactions about as much as I did the character interactions between Mustang and name I can't remember.
Like,
say what?
Mustang was Cadillac.
Cadillac.
Her name was Cadillac. Yeah.
Yeah, but what was the guy's name? I want to say Airy. Let's pan over. Let's see. Oliver. Oliver May. Is there even an Airy in Gundam?
It must be somewhere.
Nope.
I mean, we haven't seen him yet. But
well, then, if we haven't seen him yet, then he doesn't exist. I'm asking in the level of, I pulled the name from somewhere. Did I get it from there? Now, obviously, it's because we just recorded Durara. So, because we got Sergeant Kuroka, Kamuro Ray, Captain Iria Solari, Maria, Federico Casron. No Airy. Because, it's looking for every A-R-I in a name. Apparently I have 2 Camarilla Rays. There's one. Doan's Island has an image of her. And Origin has an image of her. I was like, where was there 2 of them?
Yeah. That was episode 2 of Thunderbolt.
So no thoughts.
I don't know why I want to say Thunderbolts. I mean, yeah, the one thing that I would say is that although this one didn't have the pacing didn't feel as fast, but still things are going very, very fast. So, and I don't know how I feel about the captain, though. I understand where she's coming from, but she's like, I'm more like, she's always crying. What the hell?
Well,
woman, get it together.
Remember, and you might not have picked this up from the board, she's the acting
she's the
captain.
One surviving. Yeah, she's the one surviving officer. But still,
Well, I don't know, she's the one surviving officer. She's the one that survived and took command of the ship. It seems like other people on the bridge are also officers, but much in the same way that Io is the only one above or the only ensign ranked person to survive the last mission. This is why he got the Gundam.
And an ace, apparently. Well, no, I think he's now an ace.
I don't know if he's in, what, 10?
4. No, he's destroyed 4 or 5 kills. So
obviously, it's something I'll probably count when I rewatch for my notes.
3. He shot down 3 today in this show. No, on screen, he only has 4 kills. If he has more before that, that's one thing. But he's not an ace yet.
Are you counting the one from two from last episode?
One of the first.
He got 2 kills in last episode.
In the first episode?
Yeah.
He shot one guy in the head. And
then the second guy that we got from a first-person point of view. You don't remember the first-person point of view guy?
So he said, yeah.
Because that's during his test of the Gundam.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's an ace. Officially, he's an ace. 5 or more kills.
And the other guy's got the Xeon Cross, apparently.
Not that he cared much for it. You want another medal? It's like, I don't care. You got a medal too. Like he's like, I'm just literally surviving with whatever limbs I have left, which are none. Now, they're gonna have to tie me to a wheelchair for the rest of my life.
That would be, once again, iron-blooded orphans. Well, I mean, at some point, it makes sense. If you haven't seen it, we should probably re-react to it. I mean, re-react for the channel, because I think a lot of those have gone to, since they were so early in the channel's reaction cycle, I wasn't editing them the same way, so I think a lot of them have been blocked over time. Also, I wasn't doing, like, the board and the notes thing, so might come from a completely different point of view, actually keeping track of stuff. Yeah, so it would give you perspective on all of my...
I watched, outside of, the only 2 things I seen outside of, well, I seen more than one outside of UC. I seen Wing, I seen, and the other 2 I saw with you, which are G-Quirks and Seed. Right. So 3 things I seen outside.
Like I said, it might give you context for anything I've said here, but like I said before, probably also want to watch with Gundam 00 with you at some point as well. For the same reason, a lot of it got blocked, but also not for nothing. Apparently, our viewership's favorite Gundam, according to the poll so far. So it'd be good to have that not blocked anymore. And again, I don't think I was keeping track of notes and board the same way. So be good to be a little less flippant about it, I suppose. All right, well, I guess if that's everything, then once again, I have been Theta, this has been Lessons, we've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?